I'm just as disgusted as all y'all. Let's play it.
That is track speed. That is track speed.
The funny thing is, he hits both of them purposefully, and you see upon impact, he spreads his arms. He pushes out his shoulders, right? So intentional. I love the reaction from some of our people with platforms and voices as well. Uh, let's stop by the Texas Department of Public Safety first. They say the Texas Department of Public Safety is aware of the incident that occurred today during the Texas A&M football game. The DPS trooper involved was sent home from the game. Our Office of Inspector General is also aware of the incident and will be further looking into the matter. No additional information will be released at this time. Y'all, it's so funny. Like when we be hearing about these investigations open, where it's just like, this ain't like a complaint that came in of a civilian talking about, yo, this cop robbed me or some shit. It's already right there on camera. Let's get a decision on this ASAP, people. Okay. Shout out to LeBron James using his platform. That's one thing I've always given LeBron James credit for over Michael Jordan, who is my personal GOAT, but I don't want to open up that argument right now. We can say that for another stream. LeBron has been more of an activist. He hasn't been scared to speak on social issues. MJ shied away from everything. That's one thing I always chopped at that fucking guy about. But anyway, LeBron uses his platform and says that A&M cop needs to be suspended. That was premeditated and corny as fuck. He went out of his way to start some shit. Do better, man. 3.7 million views on this tweet. Now, when we say premeditated, Stephen A. Smith gives us more context for all the people that haven't watched.
It's a no-brainer to me. Nick Harper from South Carolina catches a pass, scampers down the field for a damn long touchdown run, runs into the tunnel because he's holding his hamstring, and then his teammates come to help him because they know that something must be wrong because he kept going in there and he's holding his hamstring. He comes back out. You can see the officer at the stadium walking in between two players and literally bumps into both of them and flexes his arms out before turning around and telling them to get on out of here and all of this other stuff. We saw it. It's clear as day. It's an automatic suspension. The man shouldn't be allowed to work the game again. What you doing messing with a player like that for?
Right.
What happened at the Texas A&M South Carolina football game is unacceptable for an officer who is there to protect everyone in the stadium to walk toward those young players with that level of aggression, that level of intention, that level of purpose, and that purpose being nothing for good is something that just can't happen. And now, if you are these young men's parents, this is worst case scenario for you. This is something you've coached your kids through. You've told them how to behave. You told them what to say. You've told them how to look. And you told them all of these things just to stay alive. And so now in this situation, someone who is in that stadium to protect them is the aggressor. And here's my biggest problem with the whole thing. There was 100,000 people in the stands. There were two entire football teams on the field, and there were millions of people watching on TV.
Yeah.
So what kind of decisions does this officer make when no one is? What happened at is watching?
Those are the type of questions I always ask in situations like that. People realize that I said that, and I'm going to still say allegedly about our coverage recently of Javonte Davis. If he's willing to run up in an alleged gentleman's club and grab Shorty and drag her through the kitchen, bring her out to the alley, and then beat on her there, which is her lawsuit. Her civil, don't know if it's true, allegedly. But if people are willing to do some of that stuff when the eyes is out, we had testimony in Diddy's trial that he hit on, I believe, Cassie in public in front of other celebrities, still allegedly, right? If you're willing to do that type of stuff in public, what do you do in private? But back to this piece of shit fucking cop. The thing about it,
the Texas,
they're all nailing the points about he's supposed to be there to protect, right? They're all nailing the points about parents teaching their kids how to survive the law enforcement in situations like this. And shout out to the two players that just got bumped off like that and they walked away. They walked away because one thing about us sometimes is when we're in the right, we become more confrontational because like, what the fuck? No, you did it. And then you just be in the wrong because you're dealing with in the moment a fucking authority figure or a police officer that has the power to fuck you over. I told that story before. I've been in that situation one time. I'll tell it again real quick. I'll try to skip most of the details. But me and my man AB, we was in Manhattan, walk into a club. I had a little pregame bottle of something in my hand. And as soon as I bent the corner, there was two beat cops because it was like a lit up area, just a lot of people outside clubbing and shit, standing there. As soon as I seen them, we all connected eyes, and there was a garbage pail right on the corner, and I threw my shit right into the garbage pail. Right? They walked up to us, they stopped us. Now you're being detained. You're not under arrest. What was that? I was like, no, it's just juice. He was like, pick it out, and I was just like, nah, I don't put my hand in garbage. He was like, get it, pick it out, and I was like, no. And because I was telling them I wasn't willing to go in there and pick out their evidence, you know what I'm saying? And they wasn't willing to neither. The younger cop was so fucking pissed at me. So the older cop, he starts to write my like desk appearance. Like we didn't get arrested on the spot, but he's writing you like a little ticket where you got to show up for a court appearance. Somehow, me and the younger cop end up. I'm talking about like this, right? And I'm talking about we locked eyes for like a good 20 to 30 seconds. Now, if you count that in an eye lock at almost touching face space, it's like an eternity. We were locked like that. And I had my hands in my pockets because it was cold outside. And he said, take your hands out of your pockets. Now, I was younger and I was wrong for this. I need to take some accountability. But I said, no, it's too cold. He said, take your hands out of your pocket. And I said, no, it's too cold. He grabbed my leather jacket, both arms. He yanked up and then he yanked down so hard to get my hands out of my pockets that I had to look at the sides to see if my sleeves was ripped. My leather jacket. I was like, and then after he did that, I turned back to his face and we locked eyes again. And everything in his facial expression said, give me a chance to use my physical authority. Please give me the opportunity. And it's like how we see these situations so many times where the person tells the cop, you ain't nothing without that badge, or take off your gun and your badge and give me my fade. You won't do, you know what I'm saying? That's when people feel like that because they feel like you are empowered by being a police officer. So if it was just regular, would you be the same? And that was his face. And then that's where you get trigger happy police officers. The people that's been in the field their whole life, they go through all this training. They go through all these shooting ranges. They do all this practice, but they never end up in these real world situations that gives them the opportunity to get off their physicality, get off their boxing, get off their mixed martial arts, draw their gun, do their target practice. They be itchy. Like we've seen that depicted even in war movies. What was that? Was that not was that the shit with Jamie Foxx where the sniper was sitting on top of the roof and he had never got his chance to shoot yet or his kill yet. And they had him lined up, and then he got a call over like the airways, the walkie-talkies or something. And they said, call it off the shooting. We're going to do an airstrike instead. The plane is on the way. He said, fuck that, and let the gun off because he needed, after all of that training, he needed the chance to feel fulfilled by getting his fucking gun off at least once. It's a real world, real life depiction of having pent up aggression, training, and all that shit and never getting to use it. Never getting to use it. Now, of course, other people would mix in maybe racial or racist elements, and you just don't belong on the force, all these different elements, right? But this guy I could see it. He was like, please, I just want to slam you on the ground so bad. And I didn't give him the opportunity. I just gave him we just let him just had a stare. You know what I'm saying? The old guy writes me my ticket, and what broke our stare was the ticket coming in. I took my ticket, and then me and my man went to the club. And it ruined like the first half of the club for me. I was zoned out. I was so fucking pissed. I was pissed the fuck off. But anyway, even me being in that situation where a police officer, I feel, did that to me once, what they do at times, well, they'll put you in a position where your reaction is to defend yourself or you're even in the right, but their authority supersedes. And it's like they're instigating you. You're instigating me to be in the wrong when you're supposed to be the one to serve and protect. And that's why I deem you a piece of shit as a police officer when you do that. All right. I took that topic serious when I saw it, man. I got kids outside, man. That shit is bullshit. Those are somebody's kids that was walking through that fucking tunnel. Somebody's proud parents watching that game, and that shit happens to their kids. But anyway, let's continue. Next up,